Hey everyone, welcome back to BDG Reviews. It's night 12 of the 31 Days of Horror. I have got a good one for you today. This is a movie I saw a hell of a long time ago. I actually saw it when it first came out, so 1991. And I loved it then. Never been able to find a copy since. And that is Children of the Night. This movie is, like I said, from 1991. It's directed by Tony Randall, who's the guy that did Hellraiser 2, and I think he did one or two of the later Amityville movies as well. This is a vampire movie, as you can no doubt tell from the cover. Also, an interesting little side note on this, I mentioned Hellraiser 2. The opening score to this movie is very Hellraiser. It sounds like, he dug the score from Hellraiser 2 and he's like, you know what, let's try to do something very similar, because it's very similar, very. The plot of this, you got this girl in this small town, and her friend comes back they've moved away to another city sort of thing, and she comes back for a bit, and the girl's going to be going away to college or whatever, and I guess it's kind of like a rite of passage or whatever. They go down into this crypt that's all flooded, and they swim in it. So both these girls go there, and the main girl, she has a cross necklace on, falls off her neck while she's swimming there, and it lands on a body. This body is a vampire. It reacts, it wakes up, and essentially it kills her friend. So then it kind of cuts to black. You don't really know what happened yet, and then they bring in this guy. He's like a teacher. He's teaching some overly religious, girl's mother or whatever. No, an overly religious mother of a girl. He's teaching the girl, the mother's overly religious sort of thing. And this priest comes up to him, and he's known this priest for years sort of thing. And turns out he's a good friend of his. So he essentially says to him, I need you to come with me. I want to show you something. So he takes him to this house. Now, this house belonged to his brother's wife. His brother's dead, and he'd actually had an affair with this wife way back in the day. So he feels kind of still an attachment there. Turns out the wife is the mother of the girl who came to visit, and her and the girl are both now vampires. They're locked in a room. What makes this really interesting is the way they go about it. It's not like your usual, vampires, they sleep in a coffin or whatever. It's almost like they have to sleep the way they died. So the one girl, she died in this watery crypt sort of thing. So she's in a bathtub, and it's weird. It's their lungs come out of their body and they flop out on top. So it's kind of weird. And the mother, for some reason, in some weird cocoon. The mother's played by Karen Black. So vampire hijinks then ensue from then on. With the guy going to see the main girl and find out essentially what's going on, because that's where everything took place. This movie is very interesting. The effects are by Can-Be Effects, so they're good. They're good effects. Tony Randall directed it, so the directing's pretty good. My one gripe, and I don't even know if this is properly gripe. This is a full screen DVD. I don't know if there's a widescreen print of this anywhere. It would have been nice to see if there was, but there might not have been. So, it is what it is, right? All in all, the film, it's your basic 90s horror flick. But there's a charm to it. And honestly, like I said, I saw this when it first came out. I rented a VHS copy of it. And that's the only way I'd ever seen it. So I found this when I was up in Quebec visiting my buddy Will. and I found this in a store there, so I bought it in a heartbeat. This is a movie that needs a repressing. Oh yeah, another thing, it's also from Fangoria Films, so you can take that for what you will. But this needs a new edition. We need, like, Vinegar Syndrome or Severin or somebody to pick this up. I'm mentioning them in particular because, I don't think it's really like an Arrow or like a Scream Factory level release, but, we need someone to do something with it because this is a movie that deserves better. Nobody talks about Children in the Night. Nobody. Honestly, like, if you're watching this video, more than likely, you've probably never heard of it. You might have, and if you have, you're one of the lucky few. Yeah, everyone I've talked to, no one remembers it. And it's a damn shame, because it's a fun movie. For a rating, I give this 9 out of 10. I am completely in love with this movie, honestly. I'd like to see a, big-ass collector's edition, like, nice, 2 or 4K scan, new commentaries, everything. I want the whole 9 yards, because there's nothing on this disc. It's just the movie and, like, a couple of trailers. But it's definitely one, if you can find a copy of that, I recommend picking it up. It's definitely worth, even in the full screen format, it's still worth seeing, because it's a good flick. So yeah, 9 out of 10, Children of the Night. That's it for now. See you next time.